If there were ever a year to skip the iPhone release, this, my friends, is that year. Hey there, friends on YouTube. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. If this is your first time here, then thanks so much for being here. And if you've been here before, thanks so much for coming back. I hope you'll all do the same again. Now, the reason I'm talking about the iPhone 11 right now is generally because we've reached the point in iPhone season when people can harvest all the data that they have about, the case specifications and the CAD drawings and all of these different things and put together what they lovingly call dummy phones. Although you may easily be able to call anyone who buys this iPhone a person who bought a dummy phone. But I digress. So a bunch of bigger YouTubers got their iPhone dummies, and some news sources like 9to5Mac, it seems they got some dummies as well. The people who make these dummies, they sell them for a somewhat exorbitant price. That's why I don't have a dummy, and I don't think I ever will, because why? The only thing it would give me would be the opportunity to do a thumbnail where I'm standing there holding it like this. Does this look familiar? Lou? Anyway. So now we know. What the iPhone 11 is going to look like. It's going to look like the iPhone XS. It's going to look like the iPhone XS Max. It's going to look like the iPhone XR, only it's going to be called something different. And it's going to have a different processor inside, which will be an incremental upgrade to the processor that was already so powerful inside the iPhone XS that it couldn't be fully utilized. Apple is great at making these powerful chips, but every year getting a new powerful chip, it's not really the same value proposition as it once was. You're not going to see huge gains from using the iPhone 11 versus the iPhone XS, let's say. It looks like we're getting pretty much the same colors. It looks like we're getting... everything's the same. And it's interesting because this is the third year that we'll have a 10, 10S, 11S kind of, or 11 design. Usually Apple does like, the regular model and then the S model, and then there's something slightly different. But this year, I guess they just decided, you know what? Last year's phones were really good. And so we'll just go with that. But they did make some changes. The most visible change, the change that can be seen from outer space, the eighth wonder of the world, is that camera thing, the square, what do you want to call it? Like a goiter? The camera goiter on the iPhone 11 is probably the biggest change that we're going to see here. Incremental is almost too big a word to talk about how little the changes on the iPhone 11 are going to be from the previous models. They will likely be the same prices or maybe a little bit more because Apple. And I can't think of a time when I've been less enthusiastic about a new iPhone. New iPhones are exciting, and I have been an Apple fan for a long time, and I always just get kind of jazzed, like, ooh, I can't wait to see, even if it's an S year, I still can't wait to see. This year, we've got an ugly goiter of a camera hump that gives us an ultra-wide camera lens, which is great, but I really don't think that the ultra-wide camera lens is enough for the majority of people who use iPhones to go out and say, like, oh, I gotta have that ultra-wide camera lens. No. That's not going to happen. If you have an iPhone 10, if you have an iPhone XS, if you have a XS Max, don't even bother. Just stick with those and wait until 2020, because we're already getting leaks about the 2020 iPhone, at which time they're going to have, slightly different design, and maybe the notch will get smaller. Yeah, that's right. This iPhone 11 will have the same size notch, even though other people have been able to make their notches smaller or maybe even make a little pinhole or something like that. iPhone, you know, I just got to give it to them. They're sticking with the notch. They're just going to own it. They're just going to own it. I asked myself, you know, as I watch this unfold, and now as these videos are coming out, and it seems to be like we're pretty much sure that this is what the iPhone 11 is going to look like, whether it's called the 11 or I don't know, whatever. You know, my friend John Prosser, he often likes to go out and forage in his own field for facts to give about certain technology items, and I too have been cultivating a field. Today it rained, and I thought, it's possible that maybe a couple of new facts had sprung up out of the ground because of the rain that I could use for the iPhone 11, but unfortunately, no. Zero, nothing, not a single fact was there to be had. I don't give a fact about the iPhone 11. Now, I know there's a bunch of you out there saying, but yeah, you're going to get it. Of course I'm going to get it. Of course I'm going to get it. I review smartphones on YouTube. I review Apple devices on YouTube. These are things that I do, and now it's a thing that I do to, you know, hopefully pay for my food. So, yes, I will be getting an iPhone 11 or 10s or 11 Max or whatever. So, at least one of those phones to look at and review and talk about. But if I was just a regular person, not a superstar on YouTube, then I would look at this iPhone 11 and I would look at whatever iPhone I had and I would say, you know, this iPhone has iOS 13 on it, just like the iPhone 11. This iPhone takes pretty good pictures. I don't really need a ultra wide camera lens. So iPhone 11, you just go do your thing. You just go do your thing, and I'm going to stick with what I've got. And that's what I recommend everybody else does this year. Stick with what you've got. Do not buy the iPhone 11 because it's just a warmed over, uglier version of the iPhone XS and XS Max. Okay? Okay? I said it. Don't buy this thing. Don't buy this thing. Anyway, tell me what you think about the iPhone 11 down in the comments below. I'd really like to hear what you guys have to say. I am obviously not very enthusiastic. Perhaps as October comes closer, I will harvest a fact or two to give about the iPhone 11, but as it stands, I don't give any. I don't have any to give. Talk to me down in the comments below. Let me know what you think about the iPhone 11. Let me know what you think about that ugly goiter of a camera thing on the back of it. And yeah, we'll just talk some more. Anyway, thanks so much for being here. If this was your first time here and you want to come back again, then you can like, subscribe, bell notify, ding, 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 ding. Bah. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. Once again, my name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL, but less often these days. Until the next time, I am out!